Have you ever taken a loss and immediately thought, I'm getting my money back right now? Just one more trade, just one good setup, just one win, and everything will be fine. But somehow, one trade turns into 5. 5 turns into 10. Your account starts bleeding, your confidence disappears, your emotions take over. And before you know it, the market has taken far more than your money. It has taken your discipline, your patience, and your belief in yourself. Let me tell you something, the market didn't destroy your account. Revenge trading did. The painful truth is that most traders don't fail because they lack a strategy. They fail because they lose control after a loss. They stop thinking like professionals and start reacting like gamblers. This is a psychological trap that quietly destroys thousands of trading accounts every single day. And most people don't even realize they're caught in it until it's too late. But today, that changes. In this video, you'll discover why revenge trading feels impossible to resist, what is actually happening inside your mind after a losing trade, how your ego tricks you into making expensive decisions, and most importantly, how to break this destructive cycle before it destroys your account and your future as a trader. If you're serious about becoming consistently profitable, don't skip a second, because this video isn't just about stopping revenge trading, it's about mastering the one person standing between you and trading success. You. Chapter 1. The trade that changed everything. Picture this. You wake up confident, you've studied the charts, you promised yourself that today would be different, you told yourself you would follow your plan, respect your risk, and trade with discipline. Then the market moves against you. One trade, one unexpected loss. It isn't even a big loss, but it feels personal. Suddenly your heart beats faster, your breathing changes. A voice inside your head whispers, that wasn't supposed to happen. Then another voice gets louder. Take another trade, win it back, show the market you're right. And without realizing it, you stop trading your system and start trading your emotions. This is the exact moment where thousands of traders lose control, not because the market fooled them, not because their strategy failed, because their identity became attached to the last trade. Understand this. A losing trade does not hurt your account nearly as much as a wounded ego does. The money lost is often small. The emotional reaction is enormous. That's why revenge trading begins. You are no longer trying to make smart decisions. You are trying to erase emotional pain. Let me tell you something that most traders never admit. The market doesn't know you exist. It isn't trying to embarrass you. It isn't trying to punish you. It isn't laughing at your losses. The market simply moves. But your brain creates a story around every loss. I can't end the day like this. I know the next one will work. I refuse to accept being wrong. Those thoughts feel logical in the moment, but they are nothing more than emotional survival mechanisms. The dangerous part is that they feel like confidence, they feel like courage, they feel like determination, but they are actually fear wearing a different mask. Fear of accepting reality, fear of looking weak, fear of admitting that one trade simply didn't work, and that fear pushes you toward bigger positions, faster decisions, and reckless entries. One bad trade becomes 2, 2 become 5. 5 become an entire account destroyed in a single afternoon. It showed you your anger. It showed you your impatience. It showed you the truth. The truth is that revenge trading is never about recovering money. It is about protecting your ego. Think about your biggest trading loss. Was it really caused by the first losing trade, or was it caused by everything you did afterward? Most traders don't blow up because of one mistake. They blow up because they refuse to stop after the first mistake. They keep chasing. They keep forcing. They keep believing the next trade will erase the pain of the last. But pain cannot be traded away. It has to be accepted. This is where everything changes. The professional trader understands that every loss is simply the cost of doing business. The emotional trader treats every loss like a personal attack. One mindset creates consistency. The other creates destruction. And until you understand why your mind reacts this way, you will keep fighting the market when the real battle has been happening inside your own head, all along. What you're about to discover next will expose the invisible force that has been controlling your decisions without you even realizing it. Chapter 2. When emotion becomes your strategy. Imagine standing in front of your trading screen after a painful loss. Nothing around you has changed. The charts are still moving, the candles are still forming. The opportunities are still there, but something inside you is completely different. Your mind is no longer searching for the highest probability setup. It is searching for relief. That is the moment when emotion quietly takes the driver's seat while logic is locked in the trunk. You may think you're making another calculated decision, but in reality, your brain has already switched objectives. Your goal is no longer to trade well. Your goal is to stop feeling bad. And those are two completely different missions. This is where revenge trading becomes so dangerous. It disguises itself as confidence. You tell yourself, I've seen this setup before. I know exactly where the market is going. This time I'm not missing the move. But if you slow down and listen carefully, you'll hear something deeper. You're not saying those words because you're confident. You're saying them because you're desperate. Desperation has a strange way of sounding like certainty. Understand this. Every emotional decision begins with a story you tell yourself. The market owes me. I deserve to recover. I can't finish the day in the red. I have to prove I belong here. None of those statements have anything to do with price action. They have everything to do with protecting your self-image. Your brain hates unfinished pain. It wants immediate closure. It wants the discomfort to disappear now, not tomorrow. That is why revenge trading feels so irresistible. It promises instant emotional relief. But instead of solving the pain, it multiplies it. One impulsive trade creates another loss. Another loss creates even greater frustration. Greater frustration creates even more reckless decisions. Before long, you are trapped inside a loop that feeds itself. The market is no longer your opponent. Your own emotions are. Let me tell you something. The most expensive trades are rarely the first ones. They are the emotional trades that follow. Those are the trades with oversized positions, ignored stop losses, forced entries, and impossible expectations. Those are the trades where discipline disappears. It showed you your fear. It showed you your impatience. It showed you your addiction to being right. Notice that word addiction, because that's exactly what emotional trading becomes. Every time you chase a loss, your brain starts believing that relief is only one winning trade away. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes the market rewards bad behavior. And that is the worst thing that can happen, because now your brain learns the wrong lesson. It begins to believe that emotional decisions work. But eventually the market collects the bill, and when it does, it takes back far more than it ever gave you. This is why profitable traders don't measure success by whether a trade wins or loses. They measure success by whether they follow their process, because they understand something most people never learn. Winning with bad discipline is more dangerous than losing with good discipline. One builds destructive habits, the other builds professional habits. And if you're honest with yourself, you'll realize that the battle has never been about predicting the market. It has always been about controlling the emotions that appear after the market proves you wrong. But there is an even deeper psychological force hiding beneath those emotions. And once you recognize it, you'll finally understand why revenge trading feels almost impossible to escape. Chapter 3. The invisible enemy living inside you. What if I told you the biggest threat to your trading account has never been market volatility, bad news, or unpredictable price movements? What if the real enemy has been following you every single day, sitting quietly behind every trade you place, waiting for the perfect moment to take control? The uncomfortable truth is that the enemy isn't on your screen. It's in your mind. And the most dangerous part is that it doesn't look like an enemy. It looks like you. It speaks with your voice. It uses your thoughts. It convinces you that every emotional decision is completely reasonable. This is why revenge trading is so difficult to recognize while it's happening. Your brain doesn't announce you're about to make a terrible decision. Instead, it whispers, "You need to fix this. You know the market. Trust yourself." Those words feel empowering, but they are actually the language of a wounded ego trying to protect itself. Understand this. Your ego is not evil. It exists to protect your identity. It wants you to feel competent. It wants you to believe you're in control. The problem begins when your identity becomes attached to your trading results. Suddenly, every losing trade feels like proof that you're not good enough. Every red candle feels like an attack on your intelligence. Every stopped out position feels like personal rejection. That's when the market stops being a place of probability and becomes a courtroom where you're constantly trying to prove your worth. Let me tell you something. The market has never asked you to prove anything. It only asks you to manage risk and make disciplined decisions. But your ego refuses to hear that. Your ego wants certainty. It wants validation. It wants to be right. And being right becomes more important than making money. Think about that for a second. How many times have you held a losing trade because you couldn't accept being wrong? How many times have you moved your stop loss because admitting defeat hurt more than risking additional money? How many times have you doubled your position simply because you believed the market had to come back? That wasn't confidence, that was identity fighting reality. It showed you your pride, it showed you your insecurity, it showed you the invisible chains that have been controlling your decisions for years. Here's the paradox that separates amateurs from professionals. Amateur traders try to protect their ego. Professional traders protect their capital. Amateur traders celebrate being right. Professional traders celebrate following their process. Amateur traders chase certainty. Professional traders embrace uncertainty because they understand that no single trade defines them. This is where everything begins to change. The moment you stop seeing losses as personal failures, you stop giving your ego permission to control your behavior. You begin to realize that a losing trade is simply information, nothing more, nothing less. It says nothing about your intelligence. It says nothing about your potential. It only tells you that this particular probability did not work out. Once you truly accept that, revenge trading starts losing its power over you. But acceptance alone isn't enough, because even after you recognize the trap, your emotions will still try to pull you back into it. The question is no longer whether the temptation will appear. The question is whether you'll have the mental discipline to break the cycle before it breaks you. And that's exactly where the next transformation begins. Chapter 4, Breaking the Cycle Before It Breaks You. There comes a moment in every trader's journey when you have to make a choice, not between buying or selling, not between one strategy or another. A much deeper choice. You must decide whether you are going to continue reacting like the person you've always been or become the trader you know you are capable of becoming. This decision rarely happens during a winning streak. It happens immediately after a painful loss, when every emotion inside you is screaming to take another trade. That is where champions are created. Not because they feel different, because they respond differently. Understand this. Discipline is not the absence of emotion. Discipline is the ability to act correctly while emotions are pulling you in the opposite direction. Every professional trader feels disappointment after a loss. Every professional experiences frustration. Every professional has moments where they want to win it all back. The difference is that they refuse to let temporary emotions make permanent financial decisions. They have learned something that most traders never do. Your first thought is automatic. Your second thought is a choice. When your mind says, take another trade, you do not have to obey it. When your ego says, you need to prove yourself, you do not have to listen. When fear says, you have to recover today, you can answer with something stronger. No, my job is not to recover today, my job is to protect tomorrow. That single shift changes everything. Let me tell you something. Every time you refuse to revenge trade, you are doing something far more valuable than protecting money. You are rewiring your identity. You are teaching your brain that emotional discomfort does not require emotional action. At first, this feels impossible. Your hands want to click the mouse. Your eyes keep searching for another setup. Your heart tells you that sitting still is weakness. But sitting still is often the strongest decision a trader can make. Think about it. The market will open tomorrow. It will open next week. It will open next month. Opportunities never disappear. But your capital can. Your confidence can. Your discipline can. That is why protecting yourself after a loss is far more important than finding another opportunity. It showed you your patience. It showed you your restraint. It showed you the beginning of real strength. Real strength is not forcing another trade. Real strength is closing the platform when every emotion begs you to stay. Real strength is accepting that today may end with a loss and still believing in your long-term process. Because profitable traders do not think in days, they think in months. They think in years. They understand that one red day means nothing when hundreds of disciplined decisions are made over time. This is where your mindset must evolve. Stop asking, how can I make my money back? Start asking, how can I become the kind of trader who never needs to chase money again? Those are completely different questions, and they create completely different futures. The first question is driven by fear. The second is driven by growth. Every time you choose process over emotion, patience over impulse, and discipline over ego, you are becoming someone the market cannot easily defeat. But breaking the cycle is only the beginning, because the next challenge is building a mind so strong that revenge trading no longer feels like an option. And that transformation changes far more than your trading account. Chapter 5. Building the mind that doesn't need revenge. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine two traders sitting in front of identical charts. They have the same strategy, the same capital, the same market conditions. One of them finishes the year consistently profitable. The other blows up his account. What made the difference? It wasn't intelligence, it wasn't luck. It wasn't access to better information. The difference was the mind each trader brought to the screen. One trader believed every trade had to work. The other believed every trade was simply one outcome in a long series of probabilities. That single difference changed everything. Understand this. The goal is not to become fearless. Fear is part of being human. The goal is to become emotionally independent from the outcome of any single trade. That is the mindset that destroys the need for revenge trading. When your confidence depends on one position, one day, or one result, you become emotionally fragile. But when your confidence is built on discipline, preparation, and consistency, no single loss has the power to shake your identity. Let me tell you something. The market respects patience more than prediction. Every day, millions of traders try to predict the next move. Very few have the patience to wait for the right move. That patience is not a talent. It is a habit, and habits are built one decision at a time. Every time you choose not to force a trade, you strengthen your discipline. Every time you accept a loss without chasing it, you strengthen your emotional control. Every time you follow your plan, even when your emotions disagree, you strengthen your future. The strongest traders are not the ones with the highest winning percentage. They are the ones who remain the same person whether they win or lose. Think about that. If a winning trade makes you feel invincible and a losing trade makes you feel worthless, then the market owns your emotions. And if the market owns your emotions, it will eventually own your money. It showed you your dependence on outcomes. It showed you your need for approval. It showed you why lasting success begins with emotional freedom. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't rush. It doesn't chase. It doesn't panic when opportunities disappear because it knows another opportunity will come. In contrast, insecurity is always in a hurry. It believes this trade is the last chance. It believes missing one move means failure. That belief creates impulsive decisions. Profitable traders think differently. They trust the process more than the moment. They understand that consistency is not built by one spectacular trade. It is built by hundreds of ordinary decisions made with extraordinary discipline. This is why your daily routine matters more than your daily profit. Your preparation matters more than your prediction. Your mindset matters more than your entry. The trader who masters these things eventually reaches a point where revenge trading no longer feels tempting because there is nothing left to prove. Winning no longer feeds the ego. Losing no longer destroys it. Trading becomes business instead of emotional warfare. Imagine how different your life would be if every trade carried no emotional burden, if every loss was accepted with calm, and if every decision came from clarity instead of urgency. That version of you is not a fantasy. It is built through repeated acts of discipline until discipline becomes your identity. And once that identity is established, something remarkable happens. You stop chasing the market, and for the first time, you become the kind of trader capable of lasting success. The final step is not learning another strategy. It is becoming the professional who no longer needs revenge because mastery has replaced emotion, and that is where your transformation reaches its true destination. Chapter 6. The day you finally trade like a professional. Imagine waking up on a trading day and feeling completely calm. The market opens, prices begin to move, opportunities appear and disappear, but for the first time, your emotions stay quiet. A losing trade no longer ruins your morning. A winning trade no longer makes you feel invincible. You are simply present, focused, patient, in control. That day may sound impossible if you spent years riding the emotional roller coaster of trading, but it is real. Every consistently profitable trader reaches this point, not because the market becomes easier, because they become different. They finally understand that the greatest victory in trading is not making money. It is mastering themselves. Understand this. There is no magical day when fear disappears forever. There is no moment when temptation never returns. The difference is that now you recognize those emotions without obeying them. You notice frustration, but you don't react. You notice greed, but you don't chase. You notice fear, but you don't abandon your plan. That is what emotional maturity looks like. Let me tell you something. Professional traders are not professional because they predict the future better than everyone else. They are professional because they manage uncertainty better than everyone else. They know losses are part of the business. They know drawdowns are temporary. They know confidence comes from preparation, not prediction. Most importantly, they understand that every trade is independent. The last trade has no power over the next. One, unless you give it that power. Think back to the person you were at the beginning of this journey. The trader who believed every loss needed immediate revenge. The trader who confused activity with progress. The trader who believed more trades meant more opportunities. Now compare that person to who you are becoming. Someone who respects risk. someone who values patience, someone who understands that protecting capital is more important than feeding the ego. That transformation is worth more than any single winning trade because it creates something money cannot buy: consistency. It showed you your weaknesses, it showed you your habits, it showed you the version of yourself that needed to change before your results ever could. This is where everything comes together. You finally realize that the market was never your teacher because it gave you profits. It was your teacher because it exposed your emotions. Every loss revealed your impatience. Every missed opportunity revealed your fear. Every revenge trade revealed your attachment to being right. And every disciplined decision slowly built the character you needed to succeed. Success in trading is not built on perfect entries or perfect exits. It is built on perfect responsibility. Taking ownership of every decision, refusing to blame the market, refusing to blame bad luck, refusing to blame anyone except the habits that can actually be changed. That is the mindset of a professional. From this day forward, stop asking yourself, how much money can I make today? Ask yourself, did I trade like the person I want to become? If the answer is yes, then you have already won, regardless of what your account says at the end of the day. Because accounts rise and fall, markets trend and reverse, winning streaks begin and end, but a disciplined mindset compounds forever. Remember this every time you sit in front of your screen. The market is not testing your strategy nearly as much as it is testing your character. Pass that test often enough, and the profits become a byproduct of the person you have become. The day you stop seeking revenge is the day you stop trading against yourself. And that is the day you finally begin trading like a true professional.